Well, welcome everyone. Good morning. I'm real excited to be here with my friend and colleague Terry to present to you the what we've experienced as a great learning resource, which is Minecraft. Um, I find it to be something that's really easy to sell because it's ubiquitous amongst the youth today. That this is just something that is there, whether even if they've never played it, they've seen references to it in their culture. So it's a kind of outside resource that has a lot of gravitation and attraction built in. Um, and so we're just excited to display this to you, show you what you could do almost from, there's no real, I don't know much Minecraft. Great. If you don't know any Minecraft, you're great here. This is where we're starting. If you know a lot of Minecraft, then you can take this and kind of build on what you know. So the first thing we'll do is introduce ourselves. So Terry, why don't you go introduce yourself and I'll introduce myself.
Sure. So, as you may have heard earlier on the stage when we began the session or the summit this morning, my name is Terry Foster. I'm a Constellations Fellow at Georgia Tech. We've been partnering with Atlanta Public Schools for the last 4 years, providing PD, mentorship, coaching to new and novice computer science teachers. David was one of those teachers for me, and he has now become an expert computer science teacher. We need to steal him now. But we work with about 7 or 8 high schools in Atlanta Public Schools. And I love what I do. I love working with the teachers. I love working with students. And I love exposing students who are normally marginalized to computer science. It's nothing more enlightening or nothing more satisfying seeing that light bulb turn on for them and deciding that, hey, computer science is an option for me, not just career-wise, but just something that I can have included in my life. So I'm here today to share some Minecraft functions, and I'll let David take it over from there.
Great, thanks, Terry. Yeah, my name is David Guy. I am a computer science and math teacher at Maynard Jackson High School in Atlanta Public Schools. This would be starting my 4th year teaching this fall. I've taught 3 years of computer science AP Computer Science Principles and AP Computer Science A, along with multiple math classes. And recently, this last school year was the first year I used Minecraft. In my classroom, everything has usually been CodeHS style, code.org, kind of coding strictly on a terminal. Your output is just a list of numbers or maybe a graphic or two. Here's where this year I really wanted to get more visual, and I found Minecraft to be an excellent, wow, I can suddenly kind of, see a world of things that I'm creating rather than just text and phrases on a terminal. Okay, so what I thought we'd do is just offer that you could go ahead now and start to download this program and get it installed on your computer if you haven't done so already, as a litmus test of if you're not sure if you even have access to it. Maybe your school does. Minecraft was purchased by Microsoft, and so it's become kind of part of their array of Office products. I mean, it's almost up there with like Excel and Word, just like, and Minecraft, boom. And so I think some districts say, well, we'll buy we'll purchase licensing for the whole district because it's included. It's special administrative password. Is that to install it? Yeah. So that's how mine was. I had to call IT and they had to do their little, jumping in.
She's with APS actually.
Oh, okay, yeah. So call 1000, 448, what is it?
44802 1000.
1000, and just have them access your computer. They'll install it with you watching them there, and then that's all it takes. Is that just then they've installed it. You can now go in without any needed admin after that. It's just because APS doesn't want you to install stuff on the computer, which is good.
Maybe sometimes
it's good. So I mean, it's hyper effective at preventing downloading viruses, I guess. Okay.
correct.
So installing it depends on what your computer is. Again, they've kind of made it very simple. And so, yeah, thank you, Randy. I was just going to get to that. Basically, the sign-in is the same you would use on any sort of Microsoft account. I have a personal account. I have a school account. So I use my school account because that's where my license is associated with. Like I said earlier, if you are using Office for your own personal computer, or you have, so if you have that license already, I'm trying to think if you have a Bedrock edition, does it give you access to education? I don't think
I
it.
don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think it does. But in any case, if you're an educator with a Microsoft account, give it a whirl. This may give you that sign in. If not, I know APS, they're very big on it, the whole district. So just see if your district has that. And what were some of the responses to the polls?
I was just about to ask folks if you haven't participated in our poll. There's a little poll menu option at the top next to the chat. If you click on polls and go ahead and please respond to the poll so that we can get a pulse of the room, that would be great.
Okay, so at this point, I'll show you. So what I'm going to do is show you, basically. Sorry, escape. There's oh yeah, let me also share the link to this slideshow. This is the slideshow that I'm using that will basically walk you through our activity today. But I wanted to show, no, this is not it, sorry. If you Google Minecraft Education Edition, it takes you to their homepage. And their homepage has a lot of resources. And you can see here, Teach with Minecraft, I pull it up, it says resources. And if you explore the lessons, we're about to do this through Minecraft, but I wanted to show you in case you didn't download Minecraft. I'll put this link in the chat too. Yeah, they're different products. Got it. Thanks, Randy. So if you want to just go to this webpage as a way to explore lessons before you even have Minecraft loaded, we're gonna look at the computer science subject kit. So I'm just offering this as a way for you to go to this website in case the Minecraft isn't loading for you. But if you have Minecraft up and you click play, you can create your own world, of course, and go ahead and just enter survival and go play like a normal game. But you can also click view library, and this is where there's a lot of resources that are ready to go, built in for lessons. Subject kits has all kinds of subjects, and we're going to look at computer science. And this is where computer science, again, has a lot of different subjects. There's block-based coding, which is the make code blocks, which are really good. But we're going to focus on Python today. And so we're going to go to this coding tutorials. And we're going to look at some for loops. And at this point, this is sort of your teacher page. You can look at the lesson plan. If I click Create World, what this does will automatically open up the world in Minecraft. It's a downloaded file, but it just automatically loads it. Or I can assign or share it via Classroom, Teams, or just like an email link. So what I'll do now is put this link in the chat in case this has been, you've been working on something else, you're not sure where we're at yet. Well, just click this link and it'll open up the world like I'm about to do. If you click the link in the chat, that'll open this world up. And it's downloading the world, loading the resources, and basically puts you right where you need to start. And it's a tutorial. So it's essentially a place where it's a very self-paced coding activity where you have the chance to choose from 4 different options: novice, intermediate, expert, or application. So for the sake of today's lesson, we're going to look at intermediate. So I go up to this character and I interact with them with the right-click button. So I right-click, and they're going to ask me, what do you want to code with? Blocks, JavaScript, or Python. So again, I'm not just pushing Python as the only way. You can do blocks. Blocks is a great way to learn, especially if you're, for me as a teacher, I didn't know a lot of the Minecraft lingo. And so blocks was very helpful, kind of like, oh, okay, a little bit more visual than the Python. So we're going to do a Python lesson. And now it'll immediately transport me to the space where I'm going to perform this task. And, the question becomes, well, what is the task? Okay, well, here I am in this world. And there's this person over here. I can right-click on them and basically change the coding language if I want to. But what it said up there, it had this little floating window that was right here. It said push C to code. So this is the difference with Minecraft Education Edition. If you click C or you push C on your keyboard, you become part of the code builder. So this is basically the integration of computer science now into Minecraft. I have this coding terminal where I can write code, push this little green button down here, play, and something will happen in the Minecraft world. So up here we have our tutorial. Basically, this is going to walk me through the steps it wants to do. So we're going to actually plant some carrots. And so it says code on chat command and name it TP. Okay, so when I have these player, agent, and loops choices. And these are Python, but they kind of look like blocks. So this is it's a way to it's a very good introduction because you can now click. This is our chat command function, and it brings in the code as I just did that. I'll show you again. So if I click this block and drag it over, it populates the code. And all I'm doing is retyping the chat function to be TP. So what this means is I'm going to type TP in my chat, and it's going to do whatever's inside my function. So I'll delete the pass, and we want to teleport to the player, which is a block up here as well. And the thing about this, I will say, is yes, the Minecraft coding is probably more complicated than an introduction to Python in code.org, code.hs, because there's a lot more of this. It's objects. We have player dot, agent dot, okay. But the way they handle that is by letting you kind of get the code populated with these block style menus over here. But if you're having a question like, what the heck are we even typing up here? I read this and it didn't really make sense to me. They actually have a picture of what the code should look like. So there's a lot of opportunity for the students to be self-paced. So what I would typically do if I were teaching this, I would myself be walking through like I'm doing to you, but allow the students to move ahead as needed. And if they need to go backwards, they can. So this is a good way to introduce a topic like loops, in that you're giving the lesson live, but they're also able to kind of debug and move ahead when ready on their own. So we need to make a new chat command that says farm. So this is my chat command. It's my only option for player, which is nice. They've limited the number of options too in the tutorial. So then this is now says farm instead of jump. Next, code the agent to set carrots to 64 in slot 1. All right, so this is the agent set a block. So this is the set their inventory, and we want it to be carrots. So in Minecraft, there's a million different resources. So as you begin typing, you'll see it's going to populate the carrots in there. And it's all uppercase, but if you saw how it's giving you a lot of those hints to what you can type in here. And if you're always curious, like what are these three numbers? It shows up here that the first is the block, the second is the count, and the third is the slot. So we want the 64 to be where the count is, and the slot to be 1. Next. Now we need a repeat loop in there for 2 times. Well, here's our loops. We have a for loop. We want a for loop to repeat 2 times. Now in Python, this is the syntax for a for loop. For I in range 2. And we just have the pass right now in there, which is a placeholder for what will happen. It's just waiting for us to code it. That's what pass means. So when you're ready to code inside the loop, which is the agent to move back by 7, agent move, we can get rid of that pass. And back is in here as a, yes, this is the agent farmer. I'm at the intermediate of the world that I put the link in. Okay, move back 7. So again, what is the move? The move has a direction and the number of times it's moving. So I'm just hovering my mouse over the specific built-in function from Minecraft, and it tells me what the inputs are, back and 7. So we want to go back by 7, and then here it's giving me the image of what is it we need. All right, after the agent moves back, code the agent to move right. So I can go to my agent, move, and at this point, students may start to just type move dot, agent dot move, parentheses right, comma 4. They can just type that out. They're getting used to memorizing some of these functions. So it shows it right here. Code a for loop that repeats 7 times and place it inside the first for loop, but above the agent move. So again, this is kind of where it's like students may not follow the directions here. You'll just have to be ready for that. But here they're giving you the exact location of the next for loop, which is inside the first for loop above the move. So I want to loop 7 times. And with Python, remember, everything is tab based. So the tabs are over 1. That means all these things are going to happen inside this for loop. If I've tabbed it a second time, those are specific only to the innermost for loop. Looks like we're good on our code. Inside the for loop, code it till to till forward. So instead of this pass, we'll make the agent till. And forward is already in there, which is what we want. After the till, code the agent to move forward by 1. So we want to move forward 1. And I think that's already in there coded up for us. So let's look at our code for our farm function. Looks good. After the move forward code, have them placed down. So what it's saying is we're going to place whatever's in the agent's inventory down, which is right below its feet. When it says down, up is right above it, down is right below it, forward is right in front of it. So basically there's 6 directions of freedom there of where they could move. So down is also available below them. All right, now as this is something where you can play, go back into the code, change your code, go back and forth. So as this thing is moved along, you could even stop and say, okay, before we even get to this one, let's play it, make sure our TP, teleport to player, works. Okay, it does. So I know I'm moving quickly, but you're also able to play with the green button. It'll move you into the world, and then you can go back to your coding whenever you need to. And you can readjust. Okay, so our agent is actually in the place we want to. If it's not here at this yellow spot, then you need to use the TP command, which to write commands, we've made these functions to call them. We have a TP and a farm. We push T. T is this chat. All the students are used to using chat because this is how they cheat. This is how you make whatever, all your armor, diamond armor, and everything. So they all know all the like mod code. I shouldn't say cheat. I should say mod.
I like that.
They're called cheats by Minecraft, so I'm just using their language. But anyways, this is the chat, and I'm going to write farm. And as I write it, it does the function we just told it to, which was move down 7 and then move across to the next spot. So what it's doing is it does the tilling and pushes everything down 7 times. And then and it basically sets it up to the next spot. That's what that other for loop was, to move down to the next spot. So let's do the farm again. As it moves, it's tilling and placing the carrot. So there you have it. That's the final result of what the code tutorial should be doing. So there are some issues with this. This is I've never found a way for me to be able to access the student's code besides walking around behind their computers and seeing if they're doing it. There's no way to really share the code, and the code isn't saved. Now, there's lots of things you could do. You could have them take screenshots. You could have them take screenshots of their code. I know with our school, we have Chromebooks. Taking screenshots is fairly simple. So there's just not like that simple built-in. A lot of computer science platforms have that. I can kind of go in from the back end and see all their code. That's not available. And this is why I think this should be more of a tutorial. I will say there are ways of sharing the code once you're in a Minecraft world that's not like a pre-built world from the education software. When it's a fully created world that you've made, then sharing the code is very simple. Are there any questions, any comments about the tutorial I just displayed? Awesome. Well, I hope this is a good introduction to you to use this in your classroom. If anything, this could be just like a fun thing, and then you go back to something you're more comfortable with. This doesn't have to be like your whole curriculum has to now be shifted over to Minecraft and do everything in Minecraft. I just know when you do this, it's electric. The students are like, what? We're playing Minecraft in class? And it just kind of builds that fun experience with them. And it looks like there's a lot of other big lessons you could use. Like there's the good trouble lesson. If you want to incorporate that as a social emotional learning aspect to the classroom, if you have a homeroom, if you have an advisory. So there's a lot of things that are available to you and the students that don't necessarily have to be like you have to make your whole curriculum shifted to Minecraft. Okay, well, I am going to now move over to Terry. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, let me stop sharing.
Randy brought up a good
Great.
point. So about sharing make code links for these tutorials.
Oh, they can share the make code links. Got it. Yeah. And this is where I used make code all last year. I really loved it. I'm shifting to Python, but again, make code is a great resource, and they have a lot of integration with Microbit. There's a whole system called Arcade. There's Minecraft. They have a integration among many different platforms with make code.
Alrighty, let's see here. We good on that? Is that showing up okay?
Yep, I can see it.
All right. So I'm going to continue kind of where David left off, going back to the computer science and Python. Another tutorial that's pretty cool is this Python 101. So this is just to kind of get the students used to not only Minecraft, but the language of Python itself. Although we don't have the time to go through all of these, I wanted to show two that I thought would be really impactful for today. And the first one, obviously, is just to go over the syntax. So as David mentioned before, you can pull up the lesson plan. I'm not sure if he clicked on that before, but let me pull that up so that you can see what it looks like. So it actually shows some guiding ideas, and you can expand that and get some information about what the actual lesson will be about, the student activities, expectations, and so forth. And as he mentioned, you can open up this particular lesson right in Minecraft by clicking on this button if you don't already have the software running. All right, so that's kind of like what the lesson plan looks like. So let's go into this world. Now, is there anyone, I know that Stacy had issues installing it. Is there anyone that has it installed that's never used it before, that would like to kind of code along with this? If not, probably what I do just to make this a little bit more interactive is ask you to give me your responses in the chat. I couldn't install mine. Okay, I'm sorry about that, Autumn. So what I'll probably do then, just so that we can kind of play along with this, I'll ask you for your responses in the chat, and then I'll put those in here. We'll see what happens, all right? Okay, and it's okay if you get it wrong. This isn't a test or anything, okay? All right, so this particular lesson starts with you outside of this building here, and I'll try not to pan too fast so that you don't get motion sickness. I know I do sometimes watching my kids play games. So it starts you off talking to the CEO. So these are your, if you notice on the left-hand side, it shows you which buttons to interact with the game, to interface with the game. So forward, backwards, and so forth. So I'm going to walk up to the CEO and right-click. You notice at the bottom, it has the little mouse right-click to talk to the CEO. And so he's kind of giving me what my lesson will be, what the task is at hand. So he so going back to what he's saying, I'm the CEO of Coding Mind. This is the company that they made up. Makes a huge variety of software. We're having some issues with some of the code, some bugs. Can you help us out? Sure. So let's walk inside. Now, this little first room kind of resembles like I guess like an Apple store almost, where it has, well, I guess this would be like a classroom really. Where it has the monitors on the desk. The cool thing is when you look at the walls, they kind of give you kind of like a hint or a preview of what you're going to be doing, or even like a cheat sheet or a reminder about certain syntax. So this is just showing you the command structure on how to utilize some of the commands in Python. So I'm going to walk over to the first computer. Well, actually, I need to walk over to the developer. Right click on the developer and see what they have to say. So I can't seem to get Minecraft Python command structure right. They tried many ways, but nothing works. Could you help me out? Let's help them out, okay? So let's go to the first computer. So looking at this command, what do you think is missing? Or actually, for this particular one, you have to decide which is the correct syntax to say the word hi. So would it be player.say hi? Would it be player say inside the parentheses and then hi? The fourth option is just say, the say function. Or would it be player.say hi and then you're passing something inside of that parameter? So I'm going to ask for you all to answer in the chat. What do you think it is? Choice 3. Okay. So what we need to do is pull up the code builder. So we press C. So it tells us here, check which command on the monitor is correct. So I have to type that in. So if I type in here dot say, open up my function, pass in hi, and then run that. Did the hi come up?
Yeah, it was hidden behind your controls. Try it. Yeah, again.
I see it.
Push H. It should show.
Yeah. So if you notice, I'll try to run it again. Sorry about that. So you'll notice it says Foster T hi. And so now I have to right click on this button to let them know that this is the one to do. So congratulations, I completed that activity. All right. So pretty cool for onboarding for the students, right? For that particular lesson or this entire tutorial, I should say. So let's go over to the next room. And again, I always like to have the students look at this first so that they can kind of get some context and get an idea of like what they're going to be doing, right? So they're not going into this blindly or anything. So this is talking about text and then mathematical value. So that might register something in my mind about what we may be doing. So let's go talk to the developer. If I know some syntax is missing from these 6 commands, I can't put my finger on what it is. Can you help me out? Sure. All right. So for this one, mosey over. So if you notice, oh, I thought they were up here at the top. Oh, yeah, they are. If you notice up here, we have a left parentheses, quotation, close quotation. So open and close, and then my right parentheses. So looking at this monitor, what's missing syntax-wise? Oh, that would be a cool way to create a formula. I agree, Autumn. Sorry I didn't see your chat sooner. But what would be missing? What's missing here to solve this one? So anyone can answer in the chat. Or actually, you know what? Let's make this even more interactive. You can even come on. You can join your audio and camera. So if you click on, it should be the bottom left corner, I believe, or maybe it's the top right corner. It's a blue button that says audio and camera or audio and video. And we'll let you join on with us so that it'd be easier for us to interact with each other. So, or if you want to be shy and you want to just stay in the chat, that's fine too. But what's missing for this syntax? Anyone in the chat? Oh, there we go. Thank you, Autumn. Hold on, let me have it here. All right. Stacy, are you still on as well?
I don't think she's on now.
Okay. All right. So what will we need to add to satisfy this? Sorry. What about if we added the? Oh, I didn't add the. Was I supposed to add these in my hotbar?
Yeah, I think you're supposed to mine them. Let's see what's happening.
I think it's the parentheses on the.
It's inside the.
I have this little.
I missed a step, so I'm supposed to go over to this chest, and then add these down here to my. I'm going to put them in order so that I can easily use them. So the cool thing about Minecraft, if you press the number on your keyboard that corresponds to the slot number, you can easily pull up a particular item. So going from left to right, slots 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 9. If I hit the slot 1, that'll give me my first parentheses. Is that what you were saying, Autumn?
No, I was saying left parentheses between say, like between say and the quotation.
Correct. So when I put that down, it says correct. So I'm going to go over to this one.
So when you're doing this with your kids, you said there's not a way to track, like if they complete it, there's no tracking to see if they did it right or complete it?
Unfortunately, no. Well, I guess you could. So if I come back here and save, can I share? Randy was saying you could share the link.
Or does it show like a screenshot of Like when they're done, does it show a screenshot of your score? Maybe you could screenshot their score and then use that as a grade.
So I have to go back to my worlds, or would it be under the library, David?
I think if you go to View Worlds, it should be one of the ones right there. That first thing right there.
Yeah.
What does it manage?
Maybe export.
Yeah. See, make code is the code itself is all very shareable. I think these worlds, you may be able to upload like a world that's been completed. So I would say this, for me, this is more of a activity, that it may not be graded. It may be more of like, this is very much part of a lesson that is just interactive. And they can take screenshots. I think the quickest way is to either just take screenshots of the completed, world. Here's the thing, they can't get access to each level until they finished it 100%. You could say take a screenshot of the last, level, and that way they've done them all. That's one way of doing it. I haven't with these are like complete worlds. What I've done to share the code is, I just make a random world, and when I code in that environment, I push C code. You can share those links to the actual code. These are like very structured tutorials, well built, and there's very little control from the teacher standpoint, but they're good lessons. It's just that's the one downside, is it's hard to use this as a graded assessment. You could do something later after they've learned this. This is like a enrichment activity, I would say.
Okay. Or you could, I don't know, maybe this isn't appropriate for like permissions, but maybe you assign it to them and then you take a screenshot. Like if I took a screenshot right there, and then one of my quiz questions actually is a screenshot from the game. And if they did the activity, they should know the answer. If they didn't do the activity, it's almost like a check for completion or ticket out the door.
Exactly. So I think this could be integrated in many ways, just not like a project-based assessment or anything like that. This is just, I think you got some good ideas, it sounds like already. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I like it. It's just something different. Like you were saying, I feel like every free resource there is, I feel like I'm like running out of tricks. You know what I mean?
True that. And like David mentioned before, it just innately sells itself, right? Like kids love gaming, right? And just about every kid that I could think of has, at least, if they haven't become addicted to, they've at least tried Minecraft before, at some point in their life. Even if they saw someone else doing it, even if they were spectating it, so they're familiar with what it is. And it's just the floor is so low, it's so easy to get involved, it's so intuitive. So yeah, and they're learning.
So here's my question for both of you guys. I've been teaching middle school for a long time, so now I'm back to high school. But when I taught high school before, I only taught like IDT, and now it's IST. But this year I'll be teaching AP CSP, which I heard, David, you say you teach. And then after that, it'll be the game design pathway. So how did you use this? Did you only use it with your first year students, like in your IST or IDT? Or could you use it for like practice, or almost like with Minecraft? I know when you do your project for like AP Computer Science Principle, it has to be original. But like, can you use this almost like to start prepping them for starting to think about the game design or their AP project? You know what I mean? Like, or one of those things where it's mostly just practice.
I'm gonna let David answer that while I move over to the next tutorial, but go ahead.
Sure. I use this as like part of my lessons, and I would have, let's say I taught functions or I taught lists. I would incorporate basically there are lessons built in. Sorry, not built in. There are lessons online that have, let's see, I'm going to.
And Randy just brought up a great point about the code connection for Minecraft education. It's now integrated with Minecraft, but the Python editor doesn't seem to have all the functionality of code connection.
Yeah, so there's like a there's a lot
when
of
he
lessons.
says code connection, I'm sorry, Randy, I'm not familiar with what that is.
I was waiting to see if he was going to respond.
All right, so I'm going to put this in the chat. This is these were the resources I used, and these are basically just like this is through Make Code, but they also have, I think, Python available. What I'm saying is, to answer the question, is I would say teach them about a list using, you know, a very much just code on like a terminal and a couple very basic examples. And then the next day I would say, okay, let's go to Minecraft and I'm going to show how we could use these. And it'd be more of like a visual aid for them to understand what's really happening. And it was also a chance for the students would do sort of crazy things. Like, to me, it's always a great experience when I would do something like, let's make a block of let's make a cube of like wooden blocks. Okay. 20 by 20 by 20, just to see what that looks like. Well, they would take it into like another level. They would make like a 50 by 50 by 50 TNT block, and they started exploding it, and it immediately crashed the system. And it's stuff like that I think was a more exciting experience to them to see, can I do this? What's, their little minds start to really create these strange scenarios in Minecraft, or they want to, just like the things that were being created were a bit more of those like extreme things that they've never done before in Minecraft, even though they've played it for millions of hours. So yeah, I think to me it's a enhancement tool that can be utilized not as like strictly the lesson. To me, what Terry is showing is maybe an introduction, and then you still have to go back to some practice or some maybe handwritten notes or something like that. And then the next thing is Minecraft could be part of a couple 4 or 5 activities at the end of the unit, to just show how can the code be used more visually. That's, to me, like the output of the code is more visual. That's what I like about it.
So as you notice on this particular lesson, lesson 8, and again, you probably would want to have them traverse through the lessons in order so that because they kind of build. I just jumped to 8 just because I wanted to show more functions, because that's what we wanted to kind of highlight today is functions that are in Minecraft. That's what makes it so much easier using those functions in Minecraft versus just sequentially coding a whole bunch of lines to move, turn, create some functions and then call those functions, the beauty of functions. So, so this particular lesson, lesson 8, starts with you being in this building, this corporate building. You speak to the CEO. They have an issue. They're trying to, I think, till, and then what else are they going to have us do? They're going to be tilling. They're going to be saplings, creating tilling. So it's going to be tilling, saplings, and I think fertilizing grass in order to, have a tree. And so you have to code all of that. So the first thing I asked you to do is to create a function. And again, before I started, I kind of went over to the wall so that students can kind of get an idea if they don't remember, because by now they would have probably already seen this by lesson 8, just what functions look like. David mentioned before, you have to indent. Python is all about indenting. So you create your function name, you indent, put some code in there, then you call the function whenever you're ready to use it. So if I go in here, and the cool thing, David mentioned also is these blocks. So if the students don't remember the syntax by heart, they can always go over to these blocks over here. And these usually fill in based on the lessons you've done. Like usually by lesson 8, you will have more blocks than this. But I jumped obviously from lesson 1 to 8. So you just see this, the agent. And so we're wanting the agent to till. So just drag that over and I'll get rid of that line. But we want to tilt to the left, right? So obviously we'll probably put something like that, right? And then make the agent place sapling. So there's no place. That's weird. And that could be because of the lessons that I haven't done on here. Is that right? Yep. And we're going to be doing to the left. So this is all based on what's inside of the toolbar, obviously at the bottom, right? Up here on part 2, I'm going to change the agent's inventory slot, and I can just do that now. Let's see if it has that up here. Yep. Oops. So I can set the active slot to 1. Okay. Let's see what else we have to do here. Change it to 2 down here. So let's copy that. And notice all this is part of my move until function. Make that 2. And then here we're just placing fertilizer to the left, right? And then we're going to repeat that. So we just copy. I love telling students when they first get in my class, the first thing I want you to get used to doing is copying and pasting. Usually in their ELA classes and their other classes or social studies classes, teachers are like, no copy and pasting, no copy and pasting, right? And I tell them, as soon as you get in this class, you're going to be reusing code a lot, right? So it's fun. It's okay to do that. This is the one class where it's okay to copy and paste. I had an ELA friend of mine that actually disabled the copy and paste. She asked me to disable the copy and paste on the computers in her ELA lab for her because she didn't want students copying and pasting. It's like, that's interesting. Okay, I'll do it for you, but
okay. Terry, so we're cutting close to the end. I don't know if you wanted to pause and give us a chance to, if there's any questions or any more comments. And I also wanted to just say, I'm going to have this Google form. If you want to fill this out, and so we can get your information. I know that Constellations already has your information, but I thought we could get it. And in case you need some assistance putting together any sort of lessons or implementing it, and then my email, put that in the chat too. So are there any questions, comments? Has experience?
I think this is right now. I only have 2 like really strong ways I teach functions. So I think this is really neat on how to like demonstrate functions. But I'm embarrassed to say I've never played Minecraft. So,
but you know what it is, though, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I understand the concept.
Okay.
So one of the ways I teach functions right now is I use Turtle Graphics and I make the kids build like some kind of artwork where the same thing repeats. So like, for instance, if they're going to build a neighborhood, you know, you make a function for how to build a house. And then if there's 4 houses on the block, you call that function 4 times. Or if there's 6 trees, you call the tree, right? But that gets old after a while. So my question is in this, could they do something similar? Like if the task is, I want you to, I don't know, create a field that has 3 rows of carrots and 3 rows of corn and do it in a pattern. Like, would it be able to do that? Or even if I said, I want you to build a house, or I want you to build a castle or whatever, and then show me how you use functions to, once you built it, you know, you name the function and then you called it 3 times. Does it give them that much
Yep.
when they're outside the tutorial, but it gives them that much freedom if I gave a lesson like that they could do it realistically?
Absolutely. So I mean, obviously they would have a lot more complex code than this, but yeah, you could create anything that you wanted to in the Minecraft world. And you mentioned earlier about grading, or someone mentioned earlier about grading. In the case of that, I would walk around and grade versus having them turn it in, because that's something more complex, and you don't want to have them export all that. I would just walk around and grade it at a certain point. So maybe you've given them like a week to create this creation, right? By Thursday or Friday, you already start doing like your gallery walk. You're walking around and you're grading on the fly while they're coding. And so I think that would kind of help alleviate the fact that we can't look at like a dashboard or have them easily send us code. But yeah, to answer your question, they could totally create anything they wanted to in Minecraft. They could mod all types of objects and structures.
I'm sorry, I realized I put the restrictions on the Google form, so it should be accessible now.
Let's go back. Something I didn't do something right here. I jumped the gun, but go ahead. I'm sorry. Next question for anyone else to add a question.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Hey,
okay. Yeah. Thanks for letting me in. Yeah. Well, more a comment. I mean, when I discovered Minecraft, again, I just like you, Autumn. I had never played it before, but all of my kids have played it, and majority of them still play it. So I'm like, well, this is the hook I need, right? I mean, you got to go where the kids are. So I started learning about it, and fortunately, our school has one of the Microsoft education accounts that allows every student and staff member to use Minecraft for education. We're really lucky. So I first started using it in my computer skills class, and where they weren't coders, and just as a way to kind of whet their appetite. And I'm getting a lot more students who are like, oh, this is cool. I might like to learn to code. But I'm still a total newbie, and I'm constantly asking kids how to do stuff in Minecraft. And trying to find other educators who are either interested or are currently using it, because it's still kind of it's not widely known in the CS education community. But I think Microsoft is like committing serious resources to it, and I'm hoping that they'll come up with a way to, like this thing with not being able to share the code, right? I mean, they got to start making it so that we can use it easily in the classroom.
Absolutely. I totally agree, Randy. And you're so right about how new it is. And it's funny, the district that we work in, and that David works in, Atlanta Public Schools, the district that I work for, I should say, as far as supporting them, they are pushing it now on social media for teachers to start taking PDs on it. Not just computer science teachers, but all the curriculum, all core classes, as well as computer science. So I am more concerned that the kids will want to do Minecraft outside of the code. I think there's a way that Randy and David can help you to address that, Stacy. But no, like, it's so new, and there's very few or very little PD on it right now. Very few people doing it. But I like to say that you two, or you three, you four, Randy, David, Autumn, and then Stacy, can be like ambassadors for this, right? We need to get get it going, get it moving, right? So,
but even more so, I think we need like a community. I mean,
that's what I'm talking about. Exactly.
We need to find some way that we can talk to each other, share ideas. Obviously some people like you, Terry, have more experience teaching with it. I mean, love to be able to pick your brain after this conference.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree about the community piece. And I think I have if you click on my name, you should be able to access like my information, but I'll just put it in the chat anyway. And if y'all want to right now, you could just share your contact information as far as emails in the chat, so that we can keep in contact.
Yeah, and I put this form in. I'll put it in again. So there's a few things. I know we're kind of going over time here. I put the first link is there's actually education events happening with the August cohort, I think, coming up. And basically you're a virtual teacher academy. And you could become a certified trainer. There's a lot of things where they're offering these lessons and training. And I'm curious to learn, like, if I brought up questions like, do you know the students can't share their code, if they're even aware of these things? Because I can't see it on any real like forums. There's some forums out here, but and I just don't know if classroom integration has not really happened in a lot of places, or if it's more of a K-5 level education. And to answer, someone asked about like licensing for the school or the district. I would just add, maybe there's a contact. The homepage of Microsoft Education Edition has a lot of like connections there, and so I'm just wondering if there's a contact.
Yeah, the community forum has a lot. I mean, that's how I learned about how to get my license, and fortunately, I just had to tell the IT people how to turn it on using that information. But I think even if you don't have the full license that gives you the free for everyone, you can purchase like individual license. Like I think it was like $5.
$5, yeah.
Yeah, so a year maybe it is, or something like that. So they're trying to keep the cost down. It seems like.
Yeah. All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I know we're running over.
Yeah. Well, I got everyone's contact information. Thank you so much for that, Randy. Thank you and Autumn for participating so much today. Let's definitely link up.
I'm still copying stuff from y'all. You guys gave us lots of resources. I appreciate that, but I'm like copying them.
Okay, well, let's keep it open. If anyone wants to leave, we'll stay here.
And by the way,
did you guys see the question I had about, is this the same as, when you download Raspberry Pi software? Someone told me there's a Minecraft for Education on like the Linux free Raspbian software. Do you guys know if that's the case? Because that's almost better than getting it through Microsoft, just doing it that way and teaching the kids.
I think that's a really old code base, and I think it's based on the Java version.
Oh.
Yeah, whereas the Education Edition's based on the new Bedrock, the one that runs on, all the consoles and including the PCs. Yeah, it's a totally different version.
That's the one that I did originally when I did a summer camp about 7 years ago, and it was a nightmare.
Oh my gosh!
It was at
and
Tech.
It's Java too.
Yeah, I did the summer camp at Tech, Autumn, and it was a nightmare. But we had fun. By day 3, we got it working. But it was a nightmare.
Because I used to work in a district. I think that district has it now, but I used to work in a district and I had heard about it and we didn't have it. And I remember it was a big roadblock. And so now I'm in a new district and I don't think we have it. So I was just wondering how hard it is to get it. But if it's only $5 a license, that might be something that the kids have to log in individually. Or can you have generic licenses so that each class can use it?
You can, when you get a license, then basically you can assign it to any student. So you just get a use license, as far as I know. And if your school has any sort of like, a lot of schools have like Microsoft Office, like they have the education version. Then there's a level. There's all these levels, obviously, and there's a level at which I believe it's called like A3, where Minecraft's included. And so you might want to, if you already have Office, you might just check with your district. They may have access to Minecraft and just not know it.
Right. We do have Office. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Sorry for all the questions.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's what we're here for. Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, you all. I think it's lunchtime now, actually. Confirm that. Yeah. So we're at lunch and networking. If you have that network card or network gaming card, go ahead and use this opportunity to network with others and get it filled out. You can also check out the expo. So between now and 1 o'clock is when that will be going on. I'm sorry, between now and 1:10. So between now and 1 is the lunch, and between 1 and 1:10 is the expo. And our next prize drawing will be at 1:10 on the stage. So you have a little time to yourself to kind of eat some lunch and do some networking.
So can we put you all on our cards? I think Stacy
Absolutely
Tanner was asking that. Okay, nice. Makes it easy. Oh, by the way, Terry, I'm really digging your office there. I'm envious. All the gaming you got set up. That's pretty nice.
I appreciate it.
It's like Google.
I had to do it for, I actually did it during COVID for my kids because, you know, they were homebound. So, you know, I had to, when they were all doing virtual learning, I had to come up with something to keep them entertained.
I bet.
This was their recess. So.
Well, thank you, folks. This is really good. This is good to learn a little bit more and make some connections.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again, Randy and Autumn, for participating, and Stacy as well.
Great session, guys. Thank you.
You're welcome.